After a huge amount of work, I successfully built a 45V data logging power supply capable of over 9 amps per channel across 3 independent channels. Let's look at the build process. We all know that making a power supply is every maker's first project. I started like everyone else by repurposing an ATX power supply from an old PC. Then I moved on to making a multi-channel adjustable version with LED power supplies and buck boost converters. It seems like these converters are quite unstable and easy to fry. It's also difficult to find ones that limit the output current to levels below 1 amp, which is very important for electronics projects. That's why over several years I tried to make my own 30V 10 amp buck converter with adjustable output. I designed so many failed PCBs using various buck converter ICs that I eventually gave up. For the last 2 years I have settled for the power supply that I'm disassembling here to reuse its components for the new one. It had 3 100W 36V mean well power supplies and 3 buck converters with adjustable voltage and current. As you can see, I couldn't find the correct multi-term potentiometers for voltage and current adjustment, so I 3D printed adapters to extend them to the front panel. Speaking of the front panel, it also featured 3 LED displays showing the output voltage and current. I also tried to make this a smart data logging power supply by adding an ESP32 module and 3 voltage and current sensors to log each channel's values over time. Needless to say, this was a huge endeavor from mechanical, electronic and software perspectives, involving a lot of sketchy workarounds. One of the obvious disadvantages of this approach is the mess of wires you can see here. This mess is also one of the reasons I designed the new version I'm about to show you, as the old one was way too difficult to replicate. But why should anyone build a bench power supply nowadays when there are so many available products? Well, let's look at our options. First, we have the true 3-channel lab power supplies, which are way too expensive for me as a hobbyist. Then we have those no-name single-channel power supplies, which are not programmable and lack data logging. You have to buy 3 of them and place them next to each other if you want 3 channels. Finally, we have the mini, stackable, programmable power supplies, which focus more on portability than practicality. And the most important fact, if anything inside any of them fails, you are left with an expensive paperweight, as they're all too difficult to repair. So I insist on making my own stuff. It might be more expensive at first, but I know I can easily repair or replace every single part. So here we are, 3D printing the latest version of my DIY 3-channel programmable data logging 600W power supply. As you can see, even my 3D printer is excited to print it. I don't know how, but it was printed on the first try without failures. Only some minor defects here and there. The star of the show is this module. It's basically an integrated single-channel power supply capable of constant voltage, constant current and all the smart features up to 600 watts. All 3 of them will be powered by these mean well 200W 48V power supplies. Of course, we need to do some basic electrical work, so I have to warn you that mains voltage can be deadly, and I do not encourage anyone to follow this. Honestly, I think the fan is overkill, as the power supply won't power heavy loads most of the time. I opted to use brass-threaded inserts for the front and back panel screws to allow for easy opening for future repairs. Now it's time to screw on the assembled back panel and complete the mains wiring. I broke my screwdriver here, so there's another consumable in the trash bin. All this time in the background you can hear my 3D printer printing the top panel, which is the final piece of my creation. After screwing the 4mm banana terminals onto the front panel, which I salvaged from the old power supply, we're ready for the final DC wiring. We connect the output of the mean well power supplies to the input of the front panel modules and the output of the front panel modules to the banana terminals. It's that simple. It would be even simpler if I used thinner cables. It's only 10 amps maximum after all. Yes, I used another little power supply for the 12V fan, but again I think it's totally overkill. Now it's time to power it on for the first time. The displays on the front panel modules can rotate to any orientation, which allows the whole power supply to be that small. The voltage measurements seem to be accurate, but of course they don't go higher than the input voltage. The modules can indeed supply over 9 amps, but the set current limit is not entirely accurate, as it always supplies 5 mA more than the setting. With my oscilloscope I can see that there's no strange behavior when turning on a channel without a load. But what's that strange 50 Hz waveform on the scope? Oh, of course. They're both powered by the same main circuit. Thankfully this scope is USB powered, so I can use my Parkside battery adapter and my USB power delivery module to power it. There we go, the ripple is gone. Testing the power supply's output under load reveals that it's quite a noisy one, with hundreds of millivolts of output ripple. Unfortunately, I don't think I can trust very sensitive circuits with it. Alternatively, there might be something wrong with my measurement method. If so, please let me know in the comments. Note that when disconnecting a 9 amp load we get a large spike on the output, which is not good. For a real world test, I have a completely drained 2 amp hour Parkside battery that is not charging with the official charger. I connect it to my power supply at 21 volts and the 2 amp current limit, and we see the nice constant current, constant voltage behavior of the lithium battery charging. Once finished, we can see that the power supply measured the true capacity of the battery effortlessly. I think this power supply has now earned a permanent place on my workbench. As always, you will find the 3D files, schematics, bill of materials and instructions in the description below. Thanks for watching.